You are listening to And That's Okay, the podcast devoted to encouraging you to live in your truth in a society where reality is not what's socially popular. This is a community where you can be a novice about anything and feel comfortable about it. Join me as I have the conversations I wish I had years ago and want to hear more of. Nothing is off limits and there is no shame or judgment here. Listen, doing all this self-work is bound to piss a few people off, and that's okay. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Angelique Royale. Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. We in here. Thank you so much to everyone that has been listening. I surpassed my goal of 1,000 downloads, and I am so happy. It's been some time now by the time I've dropped this episode, but I am so happy. I'm excited. It lets me know that I am doing the right thing, and I'm just going to keep pushing and just keep giving y'all what y'all want to hear. You know what I'm saying? But let's jump right into the episode. You ever have anyone tell you that it gets better on the other side? Or once you're out of there, you can understand how bad it was. And I'm a person that's like, the grass is greener wherever I am. Because people like, the grass ain't always green on the other side, blah, 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 blah. And I be like, that's because you scared to really find out what's on the other side. Or you're trying to tell me to stay within my comfortability and not see what's on the other side. Granted, in some situations, it may be like that. Like, you can't get no better than this. But depending on what you're going through and what you got going on, the other side is greener. And I feel like the other side is greener wherever I water it at. Okay? Listen, don't try to tell me how to live my life. If I want to try it, allow me to make my own mistakes. In life, we have seasons. And here's a little bit of my truth that I'm going to share with you guys today. Because not too long ago, I ended a season that I was in. And I was in this season for so long, and it took so much out of me. And it was something where at one point I thought I would be doing forever. And to be where I'm at right now and to look back, it was a very unhealthy place for me towards the end. And that's how I knew it was time to let go. It was time to let go. I held on as much as I could. I pivoted as much as I could, change things. And it was just like, it will only work for a short period of time. And then it was just like, I was right back feeling the same way I was feeling. And it's one of those where it's like, you have to understand to pay attention to yourself, listen to your body, pay attention to your environment too, and how things make you feel. I was at a place where it was like, I was tired all the time. I wasn't sleeping well. I felt like I wasn't taking care of myself. And it was just all because of being unhappy. Like, I was really unhappy. And in the midst of it, I didn't realize that, like, yo, this is really hurting you more than it is helping you. And when I got to that understanding, I was like, oh my God, I have to let this go. Because it's no longer being challenging for me. It's becoming stressful. It's becoming unsupportive. It's becoming now a little bit toxic because it was controlling my life. It was not only controlling my life, but I was shaping my life around this thing. And it's like, no. Like, I was really shaping my life around this thing, and I felt like it was aging me too. Because I was so far ahead with the calendar and what I was doing. Like, I knew what was happening a year out. And I wasn't always present. Day to day, I was not present because my day to day consists of me knowing what was going to happen this weekend, what was happening next week, what was happening next month, what could possibly be happening next year, that I really could not focus so much on what was happening today. I didn't like that. Plain and simple. I got to the point where I didn't like it. And I realized that like something has to change. And I want to feel better in my day to day. I wanted to better take care of myself. I wanted to better take care of my mental. My mental was to a point that I was just stressed and not knowing it. And as a woman and as a Black woman, stress to us shows up as so many different ways. You know, we can get headaches. We could be exhausted. We just like, oh, I just need to lay down. Or I just need to drink some water. When it's just like, you need rest. I was not resting. I was not resting as much as I should have been to be healthy. And when that opened my eyes and I realized that, I was just like, I was such a busybody. Just busy. I had to move, had to be doing something. Couldn't sit down. Let me do this. I gotta do this. Oh, my brain was constantly going. I could not shut the brain off. I could not disconnect. And that was taking a toll on my mental health. Taking a huge toll on my mental health because I could not focus. My memory was to the point where it was hard to remember things. Like, granted, I'm getting a little older. I ain't as young as I used to be. But it was like now I had to keep so much stored in my brain that I needed to start writing things down because some stuff will go in the air and go right out the other. And I was just like, this is normally not me. I'm pretty good at keeping up with my stuff and being on top of things. And it just wasn't happening. And it was like I wasn't doing anything. I was just staying in the house. I didn't want to be social. I didn't want to be nothing. And I'm like, this is not the life that I want. And it was like draining. And I had so much of physical interaction with people that like my social battery was super low. So when I came home or when I had my free time, I was so focused on recharging myself, but I could never get a full recharge for a long time. And it just tore me down. It tore me down because I could not fully recharge and reset because it was like my brain was just constant. Did you do this? Did you do that? You still gotta do this. Did you do that? Wait, did you tell this? Did you write that down? Go write that down. Don't. And it's one of those where it was like I could not disconnect. It was like, pull the plug. Please, somebody just pull the plug so I could just power down. You know, give me a minute, restart me, reboot like I'm a computer, because it was like mentally I was not able to reset. And that's something that was so hard for me to learn how to. And I pivot so many times. And it was like I was running out of things to do. It got to a point where it was just like, this is becoming the end. You stretched it out as long as you could. You did the best that you could. You asked for help. And you weren't given the help that you needed. So it's now time for you to remove yourself from this season. It needs to end. Now. And I was like, huh? I gotta end this. What I'm gonna do? Blah, 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 blah. And again, all these thoughts and worries came to mind. And I was just like, wait. If I continue at this, I'll probably end up in the hospital because of my health. Because of not feeling well, not taking care of myself as I should have. And just being so mentally drained that it wasn't good for my health. And I was like, well, do I want to allow this season to put me in a place that I don't want to be? Or do I want to allow myself to say, that's it? I'm putting me back to the top of my priority list. Everything else follows. And I chose the latter. I said, no matter what happens or what my future brings, I need rest. Through prayer, through God, through my support system, I can tell you now, it was the best decision that I made for myself. I did it. I had no regrets. I didn't miss it. I had a couple nightmares. Like, I'll share that. I had a couple nightmares about it. But it was one of those things where it was just like, you're done. That season is up for you. And that's okay. What is for you moving forward will be better. Because now you're going to take the time to focus on you. You're going to rest. You took yourself out of an environment that no longer served you. You have to understand that too, that when things no longer serve you, are fulfilling, it's time to pivot. Especially if you've spoken up and you express whatever. But sometimes even speaking up, it's just like you done did what you needed to do. The time for that has expired. It's time to move on to something else. And we have to realize that and listen to that. I may have had signs over the last few years of that, like, yo, this is winding down. Let this go. But I was like, no, maybe if I try to do it this way and try to approach it that way. And it just gave me a little bit more time. But I still end up feeling the same way that I was feeling, as just like, and I'm a type of person that likes to perform at a high level. And it was one of those where it was like my performance wasn't bad, but I felt that I wasn't giving my all. And it's like, when you're no longer giving your all to something, it's time to let it go. Because you don't want that to look bad on yourself or ruin your character, because you go from this giving your all to not giving barely anything. And it's just like, what? And I wanted to do better with my life. And I understand too that change is so hard when you're so used to doing something and you've been doing it for so long. And the thought of no longer having that comfortability of what to expect is scary. So scary. But what's life without taking risk? What's life without seeing how other things can go? You know, like, you don't want to be complacent and just play safe all the time. It's like sometimes you don't understand what your capabilities of until you try something different, until you learn something new. And that was what that season taught me, was like, you were comfortable. You were set on stability and you didn't want to shake the table. So you just dealt with it, not realizing what it was doing to you on the inside, what it was doing to you, to your body. And it got to the point where it was like, I hated the way I felt. I'm like, yo, this is not me. Like, this is not Ange. Like, I'm a very happy, joyful, I want to smile all the time type person. And to just feel drained was just something that I was like, I don't want to feel like this every day. I don't want to dread doing anything every day. Like, no, I didn't want that anymore. And I also didn't like how it made time fly for me. It made time fly for me. I don't want to be into next year. I want to worry about today. I can't even honestly tell you a lot of what happened in my life over the last few years. But you know what I can tell you? I can tell you, it's making me a little emotional. I can tell you everything that I've done ever since that season's end. I could sit here and I could recall things that I've done, things that I've made time for, things that I was available to do. Oh my goodness. And it's just one of those that, like, this is part of the life I want. I don't want to have to pick and choose. And I don't want to have to put something over something that's irreplaceable. A memory, time spent, you don't get time back. You don't get certain moments back. Let me get myself together. Is it not sad tears you are hearing? These are tears of relief, as I would say. Tears of betting on myself to take care of me. And I'm proud of myself for getting myself this far and taking a chance on myself and putting my foot down and saying, Angelique, this is enough. This is not you. Is this the life that we want? You know how you look yourself in the mirror? You be like, is this the life that we want? And it's like, no. Like, I want to be around. I want my time spent with my loved ones. I want to create memories. You only get one life. Time does not come back. I want to live in today. I don't want to dwell in tomorrow or the future. I want to prepare for it. But by preparing for it, I have to be in today. I don't want to be a year out. I don't want to be 6 months out getting that together where my today isn't together. It's not a good foundation. I'm the foundation. I am the foundation of my life. God's the foundation as well. And in partnership, we create my life. It's something that now in this new season that I am in, I can look back and see where I went wrong, the mistakes that I made. What could I have done differently, and what that season truly was? I can identify it. I can say it was unhealthy. I idolized that season, and I should not have. And now in my season that I am in, I am happier. I am back in control over my life. I have slowed down. My biggest thing was slowing down. Whatever you got going on, slow down. As what they say, Nipsey Hussle say, it is a marathon. You will get there when you're supposed to get there. Take your time. Move at your own pace, and it exists. Everything that is lying for you will happen when it's supposed to happen. Sometimes you got to go through things so that you can better receive what's supposed to happen. Celebrate the small wins. Celebrate what you got going on, the small steps till you get to that big goal. You will get there. Take your time and enjoy the journey. Time is wealth. If you don't have money and you have time, you can figure out how to make money with your time. Like, time is wealth. You can't buy time with money, but you can make money with time. Bars. Let me stop. I've also learned in my current season that memories and time spent with loved ones is healthy. Let me tell you something. After I ended the last season of my life, I was with friends. And it was probably a few months after I was with friends, and I did not realize how much that time with them made me feel so good. And it was just like, wow, I didn't know I needed that. And it was something that being around them, where it was like an environment, and this is why environments are so important. It was an environment of love, unconditional love, being myself. Most important, they wanted me there. And that was something that was just like, wow. As human beings, we want to be loved. We want to be wanted. We want to be cared for. We want people to want us. Like that's human nature. It's to be wanted. It's to feel wanted. It's to feel loved. Like someone appreciates you being in their space and they want to be in your space. There's no hidden motives. There's no catty talk. It was just nothing but love and fun that entire weekend. It was something that I didn't realize I needed, and how much being in those type of environments affect how you feel. It was one of those where I just was like, wow. I didn't know how much I needed y'all, and I didn't know how much I needed this weekend, but it was so like fulfilling for my soul. So healthy. And I just was like, wow. Like really, wow. And I just want to understand my needs and my wants. And that was part of that. Like, yo, I need healthy friendships. I need these healthy friendship environments to be in. I need healthy relationships that make me feel wanted, that make me feel that makes me feel appreciated. There's no hidden motives. There's no jealousy. There's no nothing. I want to come into your presence and your energy and not feel like I have to protect myself. Not feel like I can't say too much. Not feel like I can't be 100% who I am around you. Like, I want those relationships in my life. And I want those friendships in my life. I want to be 100% myself. I don't want to hold back. And that's because of I know what I can give as a person. And I know what I would like to receive from my relationships, from my friendships. And it's not like a tit for tat. Everybody shows up different. You meet people where they are, but I also get to choose. Here's a big one. Get to choose who I want to entertain based on where I can meet them at. If I can't meet you there, why would I keep pushing forward with this when I know at the end of the day it's going to drain me? Why would I do that? I can choose to walk away and say, we could be cool, but just not close friends. Like, I know we maybe every now and then get together, but we can't be close friends. And then you have a person where it's just like, wow, like I, feel so good around this person. It's fun. It's pure love. They make my nervous system calm, and I don't feel like I gotta be this. And it's like, I really want to be friends with you. I hope you want to be friends with me too. I hope you feel what I'm feeling. And we both choose to be friends. When we were younger, it was just like, yo, you click with somebody. And, oh, that's my friend. Not realizing as adult, friendships are so much more important of who you have in your life, who you have on your side. And that weekend made me realize the friends that I had. It made me appreciate them so much more. The support from my friends, the support from my family was vital as well, because I made a decision that some people may not have understood, but I did what was best for me. And that's another thing we have to understand, that a lot of people won't understand the decisions that you make, the moves that you make, but you have to do it what's best for you, because this is the life you are living. You have to do what's best for you. And moving forward, I want my life to balance, allow things to be conducive to the life that I want. I don't want to be putting random stuff over here, doing random things over here. I want everything to just flow or have a nice little harmony where it feels good to me. And I'm like, oh my God, like this, like I'm happy. I don't feel stressed. I don't feel rushed. I don't feel like I'm not seen. I don't feel like I'm not heard. I want a life that allows me to feel all those things, that I'm appreciated, that I'm heard, that I'm valued. Is very high on my list now. I ain't just doing whatever. I'm not just going to flow. I want a quality life that fits for me. And if you don't understand, you don't understand. But at the end of the day, it's my life and what I'm living. And being in this season, I realized that I was living in one of my prayers that I prayed to God. And I wanted more time with family, more time with friends. I wanted to slow down. And right now, that is exactly what I'm doing. And let me tell you, in the beginning, I was still that busybody. And this, I brought that busybody into this new season. And God was like, sit down. Sit your butt down and rest. So this season, if I had to give it a name, it is called Rest and Recovery. I've learned so much about myself in this season. I've learned so much about myself in 2023 because it has given me time, memories, given me the change that I needed to lean into my identity and tie that identity back into myself. My identity wasn't in me. It was in something else that if that was taken away from me, I probably would have been depressed because it would have been like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But I had to take charge and take myself away from it. And that was probably the best thing I had to do. I am where I'm supposed to be right at this moment. I'm calm. I don't feel rushed or like something is missing. I have my own guilt of like, you need to be doing something every now and then, but that even has lessened. And now I'll be like, girl, we need to rest. Go lay down. Go take a nap. And it's like, who knows when I would get this opportunity like this again to be able to rest at this capacity. I am really enjoying this season of my life and taking care of myself and moving at a pace that's comfortable for me. Nobody will understand. Some people be like, girl, I wouldn't do that. And it's be like, you wouldn't do it or you couldn't do what I did. Those are two different things. I took a chance. I took a risk. I don't regret it. Not at all. I was scared, but I did it. And I'm proud of myself. And I'm happier because I wanted control over my life. I talked about it in other episodes. I want control over my life. And I want to understand what fulfillment looks like for me. And sometimes you have to clear up and make space to understand those things. Sometimes you have to make the space to understand what something could look like for you. You be doing so much and have so much going on. You don't have space for anything new. Sometimes you gotta make room. And sometimes because you have space, you don't have to rush to fill it either. Allow it to be blank for a little bit. Allow it to give you a vision to put there rather than feeling like you need to fill it with something. Let that something be purposeful. But until then, allow it to be blank. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Join the community and follow the podcast on IG at And That's Okay Podcast to stay updated. We would love to have you. Until next time, remember to spread love, kindness, and make the choices that bring you peace.